Hi there, Cheryl here. For this assignment, I'm going to be providing you an analysis of a course that I reviewed. The course that I chose to review is the Indigenous Canada course, which is offered by the University of Alberta. And so this course is a 12-lesson massive open online course, or a MOOC course, from the Faculty of Native Studies that explores Indigenous histories and contemporary issues in Canada from an Indigenous perspective. So this course is self-paced and it has a suggested time frame of about 12 weeks of study. They recommend about 3 to 5 hours a week, although it is self-paced as well, so those time frames can be adjusted. And what's really neat about this course is you can access the materials after you complete the course as well too. So I actually completed this course in 2020, and then again for this assignment I reviewed the course again and took part in the course again just to analyze the composition of the course. And so the reason why I chose this course again is because I do have facilitation and instruction goals centered around Indigenous relations and reconciliation, as well as diversity and inclusion. So this course, Indigenous Canada, is for students and the public outside of the University of Alberta's Native Studies program and for peoples with interest in acquiring a basic familiarity with Aboriginal, non-Aboriginal relationships. I really enjoyed this course and I really enjoyed the format and layout of this course. So this is a snapshot of the main page. One thing that I really quite enjoyed was the option to customize my profile. So here you can see some of the information that I put down. I was able to put my previous experiences, kind of customize some things that I'm interested in learning about, preferred occupations. And what's neat about this is it gives me the opportunity to network and link with the Coursera network and the University of Alberta network, and it kind of can flag and indicate some training opportunities that may be available that match what I'm interested in. Another thing that I really liked with this course as well too is the opportunity to purchase a certificate. So I actually did purchase a certificate, and what's neat with this certificate is that I can download and share the certificate. I can export and print it as well too, and I also have the neat opportunity to link that to my professional LinkedIn account, which I thought was very cool and provided like another kind of method of networking professionally. So the structure of the main page was really, as I mentioned, user-friendly and easy to navigate. One element of the course that I really enjoyed was that these teachings really embed that Indigenous education framework, those principles that we discussed earlier on. Land-based teachings, Indigenous narrative and storytelling, and a diverse value system are really evident in all of the modules, which I really quite enjoyed. And the structure was really neat to see. Each week kind of had the same, or each module had the same layout. It comprised of some interactive videos, some readings, and a quiz. And what was neat about this as well too is as you can't progress into the next element in the module without finishing the previous one. And the videos are interactive. The components in each module are interactive. There's frequent check-ins to see how you're doing, ask you some questions. There's a little bit of a gamification there. You can't progress through the reading until you've actually completed the reading, which was neat as well. And the same thing with the quiz. As you can see, there's you have to have a grade of 70% or higher to kind of complete the module and progress to the next, which I thought was neat. You can see as well too that they limit your attempts 3 every 8 hours as well. If you don't pass the quiz, they'll default you back to another space in the reading that they think that you need to reflect on. So very supportive. The only thing to note is that one feature that I really liked as well was the class note feature. You do have the ability to export the class notes and materials in a PDF format to your email. So I was actually able to get like a library of all of the modules that I'm able to use for future reference as well. So I really quite enjoyed that. Everything was really aligned. Each module has clear course objectives and an introduction, so I never felt disconnected. I kind of knew what I was supposed to be learning. I felt aligned. I felt the content was aligned. I felt it matched the quizzes, and then I felt the sequencing within the modules were aligned as well too. I enjoyed as I mentioned, the note-taking options as well. I had the ability to take notes, but also export the notes, which was really, really helpful. I really enjoyed the many different types of mediums as well. I don't think that I'm going to share maybe some of the videos because there's a lot of audio and a lot of visual in there too, but you can see that they're interactive, which I really kind of enjoyed. Each forum in each module, well, throughout the introduction and then throughout the discussions in the forums that are in each module, there was embedded a lot of cultural safety and kind of ground rules for conducting yourself in conversation. I had the ability to have like content learner interaction as well as interaction with other colleagues and learners within the course. And then if I had questions, I was able to reach out to the instructors throughout the program as well, which I thought was really, really neat. But overall, very, very safe, very respectful, and very easy to navigate. So the course had several different learning theories that were applied in the lessons. The course utilized, as I mentioned, the principles in the Indigenous education framework, which I really quite enjoyed. Again, that included holistic theory, relationships to people and lands, and the incorporation of storytelling. It was really neat to kind of hear a lot of the histories of place names as well and kind of what that meant from an Indigenous narrative, which I thought was really important. The learning theory of behaviorism, of course, was embedded throughout the course as well too. Not only did I enjoy the course content, but the certificate was a motivating factor for me, and as well as that professional networking. And then, of course, the progression of completing the quizzes. And so the automatic check-ins as well kind of tied in the answers and thought patterns and how to proceed, and kind of aligned with that system of reward. The course had cognitivism as well as a learning theory. I was asked to reflect on my own thoughts and experiences and then engage in asynchronous discussions and reflection. Some of the modules had a discussion about scenarios and remembering, kind of unpacking scenarios. And as I mentioned, those quizzes and those readings within each of the modules definitely were sequenced and kind of were aligned in order. The learning theory of constructivism, I as well thought were utilized within the module forums. As I mentioned, I was encouraged to reflect and discuss myself, prior experiences, like what I relate to. There was an element of land acknowledgement and introductions, so I felt like I was connected that way. And I enjoyed the forums, as I mentioned, because there was different, layers of conversation that I could engage in, whether it be another learner or an instructor. At times it did feel a little isolating though, because there are so many people that are in the course as well, right? So sometimes I felt a little disconnected and a little isolated. But all in all, great content. Learning outcomes and assessments. The learning outcomes and assessment were really clearly articulated in the course syllabus within each module. As I mentioned, there was a lot of feedback that was auto-generated throughout the readings, and within the completion of the quizzes. The structure of the videos and class notes kind of allowed that succession as well too, as I mentioned. I really liked the feedback that instructors provided. It was really, really positive and respectful. This course had exceptional media and technology to promote interaction within the course as well too. And so I can see this MOOC course has a very professional setting. with an exceptional casting crew and resources to assist in the video making and all of the interviews and the integration of all those design graphics and storytelling and all the different types of media. It was really neat to see. The features I enjoyed the most were the diversity and in those amazing videos and interviews. I felt like I learned a lot. And it was really neat to kind of see just a lot of the interactive storytelling and place names. As I mentioned, sometimes we unpacked a painting, sometimes we unpacked a place name, unpacked like a meaningful historic piece or element of the history between Aboriginal peoples in Canada. So all kind of neat. As I mentioned, some barriers that I encountered included isolation. I also feel that some learners enjoying this course may potentially experience barriers in connectivity, as there is a lot of content there. So I suspect that you probably need a good broadband width as well. So I think that could be one barrier. One barrier it did overcome is that it is a free learning source that is asynchronous. So learners can access it free as they see fit and their own schedule, I think, which is really, really important. My only content to reflect on is that sometimes providing information in Indigenous content is highly sensitive. The opening introduction was so respectful for this course and reflected on how this content was not a generalization of all Indigenous peoples, which again, I thought was really, really respectful. This course did bring a lot of insight to knowledge regarding the areas of what is now known as Alberta. So of course I'm from the areas of what is now known as British Columbia. So I really enjoyed learning more and challenging myself and just getting more context. For diversity and inclusion, I really enjoyed the closed captioned options that were available within the modules and the exporting of the materials and that they were free. I really liked how instructors and teaching assistants were readily available if you had any questions as well. And I already mentioned all the principles within the Indigenous education framework. For motivation and engagement, there were several touch points of motivation and strategies in the course. It was always really clear to me what was expected in terms of my learning. It was convenient as well. It was innovative and creative. And again, I felt rewarded with that certificate and that professional networking. I do have some recommendations for this course based on my learnings. That includes maybe providing an opportunity of a blended approach of asynchronous and synchronous learning. I did kind of feel a little isolated, and I think if there was a live introduction, or at least even a recording, maybe of a live introduction, it would have felt a little more interactive for myself. And I kind of was a little sad that I didn't have the chance to meet the instructors. It was a pretty strong roster of instructors and people that were part of this learning experience. So I felt like a little gypped that I didn't get a chance to meet people from the course. And I think another thing that would have been really beneficial is really having a good solid discussion on dismantling stereotypes and myths, commonly negatively held myths of Indigenous peoples. I think that would have strengthened the course. So other than that, those are my reflections. The checklist for this assignment, I really enjoyed that portion of the exercise. It really tied everything together for me. It really got me to understand the how and the why in online content delivery. So it definitely is a useful tool that I will be utilizing kind of in my future endeavors surrounding facilitation and instruction. And that assignment kind of closed the loop and helped me understand all the many different types of decision making that facilitating online design requires. And I just recommend taking part in this learning opportunity if you haven't. It's an amazing opportunity, and just the MOOC through the University of Alberta in general is an amazing learning opportunity. So thank you very much. I appreciate all your support. Thank you for letting me resubmit again, and hopefully I will see you in another course soon. Take care, Jackie.